Welcome everybody live from the dungeon, Brooklyn, New York. It's Pain Train Pipe Bomb time. Jim, what's going on?
Well, same old shit. What's going on with you?
Oh, you know how you have enough with technical issues every once in a while?
Of course.
Yeah, I've had enough with them.
Yeah, we go through it every day.
Yeah, it's just same old shit every day.
Oh, yeah.
So we are returning this week again for WWE Review Raw and Smackdown. Did you see anything Monday night that popped out and just said, holy shit?
Honestly, no. To me, it felt like just a bland episode of Raw.
Well, they're still setting up their storylines for Fastlane.
Yeah.
March 5th, I believe that is.
I believe so, yes.
Yes. Okay, so they pretty much set up all their storylines. You got to start Kevin Owens coming out shooting a promo,
Calling out Goldberg, basically.
and no explanation on why the split off of him and Jericho. Which I thought was kind of crazy. But I think maybe that because Jericho's not in the picture right now, you don't have to give an explanation of what's going on.
Why should he?
Well, you go through that whole month, the whole few months of them being best buds, I would have to say.
So gay.
Not
like there's anything wrong with that.
I don't know. Maybe they were having a gay romance. I don't know.
Could be. Romance. Romance is in the air.
I have to say, though, Owens still shoots a great promo.
Yeah, he does.
Usually they don't overlap some of the promos, but apparently they did with a Lesnar promo.
Yeah.
Still promoting WrestleMania, still against his match against Goldberg, and his outlook on what he really wants to happen for that Goldberg-Owens match at Fastlane.
I think it's going to be a good match, regardless. I mean, one of the matches I'm looking forward to watch.
Being the fact that it's next weekend.
Right.
What would you say your prediction would be for that match?
Oh, wow. Oh, I'm old school, so I got to go Goldberg.
You don't say there's no shadiness that happens somehow in between that?
You never know. Maybe Jericho interferes and some way, for some reason, helps Owens beat Goldberg to see if maybe he could slot himself in a match against Kevin Owens at WrestleMania for the title.
But it also could be the other way around, where Lesnar interferes and has Goldberg lose.
So it can go either way. Either way, I think it's going to be good. Or WWE would do what they've been doing for the longest time and have everybody expect something and nothing happens.
Well, at this point, I look at it as if somehow Lesnar doesn't interfere,
right,
and there's no interference from Jericho. I mean, like we said last weekend, it could be the possibility that Goldberg could be walking in Universal Champion against Lesnar.
That would be great.
That would make the pot richer for Lesnar, though, even though they're still part-timers.
Yeah, I know. But this whole thing about putting the strap on part-time is like, when's that shit going to stop?
Well, that will kind of lead into the segment for a little bit later on.
Yeah.
The whole title issues.
Yeah.
I guess at this point right now, after this whole thing with Owens, Lesnar, Goldberg, Jericho, maybe at this point in time, the Enzo Amore Big Cass tag team is finally getting a push.
About time. I'm not crazy about that tag team. I'm not a fan, but they deserve the push.
Well, in this match that they had, apparently Enzo opened his mouth too much, and Cesaro and Sheamus got involved.
Oh, boy.
The outcome of it was that Enzo and Cass win the match.
Huh?
So now, I believe, Enzo and Cass are now the #1 contenders 4 tag team titles who are held by Gallows and Anderson.
Ooh, that should be a good match.
But that's only a fast lane, though.
Yeah, it's still gonna be a good match, though.
I don't know. I'm not too sure of that. Enzo's a little on the weak side. Cass is the big Empire State Building, so to speak.
Big frumpy doofus.
Yeah. I think that's where that comes in.
Yeah.
I'm not too sure. Maybe that might be the shortcut promo to hold them over to WrestleMania to see who the real number 1 contenders are going to be.
That could work, too.
Could you see the title changing hands?
Fastlane, no. At Mania, yeah.
Next off of that, they go to the Cruiserweight division.
Snooze.
And there was not very much Cruiserweight. Well, there were 2 Cruiserweight segments in the entire show. Now, mind you, it's a 3-hour show.
Right.
And you only show the Cruiserweights twice, and that's supposed to be one of the highlights of your brand.
Why they brought it back.
Brian Kendrick. A lot of mixed reviews. I mean, we know him as Spanky. I don't know where they actually got that name from.
Because he's a jerk off?
I don't know. But he's 39 years old.
39?
I think he's 37 or 39 years old.
Jesus.
He's up there in age.
Oh.
And he's trying to do this mentor role with Akira Tozawa, who he's just like the Energizer Bunny on crack.
Oh, yeah.
The guy just never stops, and his cardio is amazing.
Guy's a beast.
So they started a feud between the two of them. You don't see very many feuds in the Cruiserweight division.
Not much.
I mean, you had it when before Kendrick became the champion.
Yeah.
With the other Punk.
Yeah. Yeah, Neville and Swan.
Yeah, Neville and Swan.
That was a decent rivalry for the whole 4 seconds it lasted.
Well, you mentioned Neville, and they had, for the first time ever, a Cruiserweight contract signing.
Really?
Neville's just a bastard. He really is. He goes off on Gallagher.
Really? Oh, that pasty dude?
Yeah, the pasty English guy who runs around with the Mary Poppins umbrella.
Oh, I want to shove it up his ass and then open it.
But the segment in itself, where he says, "Stop trying to act like being such a gentleman, and you dress up and you cater to these fans or the WWE universe," and Gallagher says, "Well, I'm not acting. I'm just being me. If you don't like it, tough shit." Neville flips the table, and contract signings never end well for some people.
Never end peacefully.
Gallagher headbutts Neville out of the ring.
He headbutted him out of the ring?
He headbutted him out of the ring.
Strong fucking head.
And then as Neville is coming back in, Gallagher has somehow retrieved his umbrella and points the umbrella into Neville's throat.
Ooh.
First off, how does an umbrella stop somebody?
Nice good jab in the throat might do it.
But seriously, it's an umbrella.
But it can even the odds.
Are you afraid of an umbrella being pointed in your throat?
Oh, I thought you meant he jabbed him in the throat.
No. He just stopped him, literally reached out with the umbrella and said, "Stop, dickhead," with a fucking umbrella. Right to the throat.
Funny.
Now, if it was me, you're pointing an umbrella at me, I'd smack that umbrella out of your hands and I'd beat the shit out of you with it.
Oh, that would definitely work.
But I was going to say the audacity, and I thought that would have been pretty funny, but you stop Neville with an umbrella.
Yeah.
And that's how the segment ends. Gallagher gets all his cheap pop, and then Neville's walking into the back if they're getting an umbrella to the throat.
Terrible. They should have left the cruiserweight shit buried.
Either that or just actually made it a little bit more interesting than what it is.
And maybe even giving them a nicer looking belt. That shit is ridiculous.
Purple?
Yeah.
Bags wear purple.
Well, not that there's anything wrong with that, but...
I mean, I wear purple every once in a while, but I don't, like, make it prevalent that my belt has to be purple. I'll go to the two retarded ones next. Even though I'm just bouncing around on Raw. Same show, same shit, same segment every week. Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns now decides he wants another handicap match with Gallows and Anderson, whom he beat by disqualification the week before. I'm sorry. In some ways, Roman Reigns needs to stop.
He needs to go away already.
It's not even the going away. Turn him heel. Make him effective. Cut off his microphone so we don't have to hear him talk.
I was going to say, make him not talk. I mean, when he was the badass enforcer in the Shield who didn't utter a sound, that was awesome. Bring him back to shit like that. You know, reunite the Shield. Do something. Make his own version of the Shield. Just don't make him talk. I mean, come on already. It's boring.
It's just enough. I really have had enough with this Reigns stuff. Really have. And then we digress to the next retarded segment. Because I have a feeling at this point they're running out of somehow storylines to put their superstars in.
Clearly are.
Now, I put quotations around the superstars part.
Oh boy, that can only mean one thing.
The New Day.
Oh yeah.
Who somehow, some way, is still doing their ice cream promotion.
Again?
But they have their own plans for an ice cream machine. And it just so happens, as a political storyline popped up with, the Russians.
Right.
Lana stole, or hijacked, or hacked New Day's iPad.
Yeah.
And got the ice cream machine instructions, or plans, which then made it a now tag team match between the New Day, which was Big E and Kofi.
Where's the other guy?
Well, Xavier Woods was running around with the fucking musical instrument.
I want to beat him with his tuba. Whatever
they painted it green, by the way. Like forest green.
Ugh. Ugh.
So it looks like he's running around with a big pine tree.
Puke.
But they had them go against Rusev and Jinder Mahal. And this is where it goes back to my previous statement of they are trying to find storylines for their superstars.
Yeah.
Now, Rusev, and I made this clear, what was it, a year and a half ago when Rusev made to WWE.
Yep.
Tremendous potential.
But they're not doing anything with him.
They've now made him a mid-card jobbing piece of shit.
WWE for you.
You know, you build up a guy in NXT that lost once when he lost the NXT title.
Yeah.
You bring him up to Raw, has a great undefeated streak, and then you fucking pussyfy him by doing this shit. Now, I can understand he's bringing Jinder Mahal back. He's getting him buff, I guess.
Yeah, at least.
Really, dude?
It's
really?
Their booking is horrible. It really is. We can book better shit than them. Well, hypothetically.
If WWE somehow miraculously could hear half the shit that the universe was saying let's not fucking have to deal with Roman Reigns on a weekly deal. Make Rusev that fucking destructive monster that he was before.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they pussified him. They did it to save his feet and his ankles and shit by putting boots on him.
Yeah.
But he's not the Rusev that we were raving about when he first came up. Definitely not.
I can give you one prime example. I believe I mentioned this on a previous recording, that the main guy who I think of when it comes to pussying down a monster character is Kane. Look what they did to him. You put him in a suit? Really?
Well, that was his character change.
Exactly.
They wanted to make sure that they had him not in-ring action like they've done to a lot of other superstars in the past.
Yeah.
They try to, like, hold them back a little bit to draw their career out a little bit more.
Right.
I mean, back in, was it 2008 with Angle?
I think so.
When he was injured, supposedly, and they made him the SmackDown GM.
Oh, yeah.
Way back in the day.
Yeah.
Yeah, they pushed him back for, like, 2-3 months, and then all of a sudden Angle was back in the ring again.
Yeah. Like you said, the same thing with Kane. They did that to drag out as much of whatever's left of his career out. I mean, you take the Attitude Era Kane and you pair him up with the Kane of now, it's like totally fucking ridiculous.
It's just, it's to the point where, like, I just don't... Again, I'm at work on Monday nights the same way you are.
Yeah.
And I try to stay with the storylines to see if they're going to actually surprise me for a change. And sometimes they do, and sometimes they don't.
Mm.
It's more of the don't that I usually get.
True.
I'm going to start off with 3 women's segments.
Okay.
As of right now. Nia Jax goes after a jobber, whom I didn't even know this person even existed. A Sarah Peace, who was a local competitor from where they were.
Okay.
Obviously Nia Jax destroys this bitch.
What else is new?
And then shoots the promo that whether Bayley, Sasha Banks, or Charlotte are the women's champion, Raw Women's Champion,
right,
to be corrected, she's going after them.
Ooh.
Now, again, the Strowman effect is what I'm going to start calling it from now on.
Yeah.
Jax is going against jobbers, the same way Strowman was.
Yeah.
They have not really given her any competition. Bayley and Sasha Banks are obviously two of the top Raw Women's Division wrestlers. Yeah.
Yep.
If you're just gonna show Nia Jax going over cheese puffs every week, you might as well just hand her a bag of Cheetos and have her sit at ringside, because that's a waste of time.
Yeah, she still is one scary bitch.
That's about a wasted 8 minutes of segment for the show.
Well, I mean, they've done that with a lot of wrestlers in the past. They did it with Ryback. Remember when Ryback debuted?
But this isn't the 90s or the 80s where you saw a superstar on regular TV beat some fucking Hamburger, and that was it. That's all you saw.
True, too.
It makes no sense.
No. Maybe that's their way to build up their character, like this unstoppable fucking machine, and all of a sudden they go up against real competition and they forget how to win.
Yeah, but at this point, I'm calling it the Strowman effect. Is that they stopped giving him these cheese puffs, and they're giving him to guys who have actually made names for themselves.
Like The Big Show.
Mark Henry, The Big Show. Reigns. Which, I'll actually root for fucking Strowman through that. I really would.
Of course, me too.
Because he's destroying Reigns every time he sees him. And I skipped the segment, but I didn't even care. But at one point, Reigns does get involved with him, and he gets destroyed again.
Yeah, it was the match against Big Show, and it went back and forth, and then Reigns got involved again, this and that.
Yeah, so
Reigns
you know what?
effect.
I'll go to that, actually, because the Big Show Strowman match, I was extremely, extremely happy with this match.
Oh yeah, I heard it was good.
It was back and forth. Strowman did show his dominance, which is what Strowman should be every time. Dominant.
That's one way to push him. You guy's a huge dude.
That's exactly the point, though.
Mm.
Is Strowman is dominant. If you're going to keep him that way, that's the way you should stay.
Question is, could you see? I mean, if they decide to push him this far, could you see Strowman with the strap?
You know what? Yeah, I think so. And the only way I say that is I have to go back to Mark Henry.
Right.
He didn't really have a tremendously long title reign at one point. His domination was ridiculous.
Oh yeah. Oh my God. With this Hall of Pain type of shit.
But also at the same right, though, like when they put him against Big Show, and the two of them are best friends, so they know how to really, really work a match.
That's how it works. Well, best friends always make great rivalries on the show.
But Strowman as champion would be, I think it would be a good line for him at some point. Really do.
We just hope WWE doesn't drop the ball and don't give him that far of a push.
Well, at some point, I have to say, depending on how, again, they're going to work this Roman Reigns angle, you know, it's just, it's very fishy because the more that you see Reigns win matches, you're just putting other people that you're pushing behind. It's not good. But Big Show Strowman, phenomenal if anybody gets the chance to see it. I mean, Strowman won. It wasn't easy.
Of course not.
But I have to say, and it's not one of those, one of the higher up performances of the year.
Right.
You featuring Strowman, Big Show, but it possibly could be a match of the year candidate. It's big. I mean, Raw and Strowman and Big Show. Wow.
I could see it being up there for match of the year.
But Strowman shows his dominance again after that and beats the shit out of Reigns. Left him laying. I was not surprised at that.
Nobody was.
He's left he's left Reigns laying twice in 2 weeks. So, yeah. But that I mean, the match does leave me a little bit on the speechless side.
Yeah.
In reverse, however, the segment that we really keyed on a little bit last week for Raw, is Bayley still the women's champion?
Oh yeah. True.
I have to give the writers credit for this whole thing.
Yeah.
They really did write out a great setup for Stephanie McMahon, who was trying to get Bayley to relinquish the title. Yeah. Sasha came out and kind of helped Bayley choose to not do it. So it pretty much smacked Stephanie McMahon in the face, but you know Bayley better than I do at this point.
Yeah.
You really think she was going to give it up?
I don't think so. She's worked so hard down in NXT and all the other indie organizations to get to this point. Why would she turn around, sell out like that, and give up the belt? She wasn't going to do it.
And this in breaking news from Bleacher Report Team Stream, Kelly has confirmed she's going to be at WrestleMania 33.
Nice.
And considers another run in the WWE.
That's actually a really, really good piece of news because I love Kelly.
Which brand?
SmackDown.
Even with them adding Mickie James?
Mickie James should really take a back seat.
It's just another one of those runs before they get into the Hall of Fame, I think.
Exactly. But I could definitely, I mean, come on, you can't see a Kelly Alexa Bliss feud on SmackDown. Battle of the Blondes. You know?
I hate to say it, Kelly wasn't that skilled of a wrestler when she started.
Well, you never know. She could have, she could have learned in her absence.
She got pregnant, had a kid, and got married.
Lucky bitch.
I don't think she had enough time for training.
True.
So the last Raw segment, and then I'll jump over to SmackDown.
Okay.
Which is obviously an hour shorter.
Apparently, the better show has the shorter airtime.
And probably the better quality at some points.
Exactly.
So the last segment I'll talk about is the triple threat setup for Samoa Joe, Sami Zayn, and Kevin Owens. Now, Samoa Joe, I've said it before, I said it again. Hits hard. He is hard-nosed. He's pedal to the metal. He will kick the shit out of you.
Yep.
Jumps Sami Zayn from behind again.
Stop with this. I mean, Samoa Joe feuding with little Sami Zayn.
Well, again, this is now a carryover from NXT. And a little bit of a carryover from Ring of Honor.
Yeah, Samoa Joe and El Generico.
Yes. I wish they would have just kept him El Generico.
I know, the Sami Zayn shit's...
Samoa Joe beats the shit out of Zayn, throws him into the ring for Owens, who then dominates, beats Sami Zayn, walks out of the ring. Next segment. Sami Zayn versus Samoa Joe at Fastlane. That's what it is.
Yep.
So Fastlane's pretty much setting up there. He's getting their cards set up. And that's that for that.
My quick question before we dabble into SmackDown. If there's ever a time, of course, after Kevin Owens loses the Universal Championship, if they were to pair up Kevin Owens and Samoa Joe and shove them in the tag team division, what kind of destruction do you think they're going to leave?
Who?
Kevin Owens and Samoa Joe.
First off, I see this whole setup now. Samoa Joe's going to get out of hand eventually.
Yep.
And at some point, they're going to have to put a stop to it.
Mm-hmm.
That might be, again, this is rumor, because wrestling is all about rumors. At some point, Samoa Joe versus Triple H.
Oh, boy. They still haven't even tapped onto Rollins and Triple H.
Rollins has been sending out tweets
about his return.
About it, not only his return, but he keeps poking the Triple H bear. That's going to be a big problem. That I see them somehow. Samoa Joe is the temporary roadblock, and then all of a sudden it's going to be Rollins and Triple H, but it ain't going to be at Mania though. No, that's the bigger point of it.
They don't have enough time to develop that storyline.
So we'll get into SmackDown, which I love. I kind of like the way that Daniel Bryan and Shane are running things.
Yeah, they're actually doing a really good job. Daniel Bryan is surprising me, I gotta say.
Naomi is forced to relinquish the women's title due to her injury, because it wouldn't be within the 30-day period.
Did they say what her injury was?
It's a knee injury.
Oh, wow.
Not specific to what the knee injury is. However, it's a knee injury. So, at this point, the one in an elimination chamber was
2 weeks ago, I think?
2 weeks ago. I think it was 2 weeks. Almost 2 weeks, I think.
Right. February 12th, actually.
Yeah, and we're only on the 23rd.
23rd.
So
not even 2 weeks.
It's not even 2 weeks. We're only 11 days away. 11 days in.
Yeah.
But apparently, the 30 days for the rematch, which was supposed to have been Tuesday night, she couldn't defend the title, which I don't know why they had to push it within the little over a week.
Right.
Again, bad lineage when you go to that. Ambrose hasn't defended his title in well over a month at this point. January 22nd, Ambrose defended his title against The Miz, Lumberjack match. We're now the 23rd. I'm pretty sure that's a month.
Yeah.
That's the gayest way to have somebody relinquish their title.
By not defending it in 30 days.
But the 30 days isn't even up.
Yeah.
That's the problem. And if she's not defending it till WrestleMania, then there's no reason to have had her relinquish the title.
I don't know what to make of that one.
They end up then making a match to actually make a women's SmackDown champion. Bliss versus Becky Lynch.
Mm-hmm.
Same old shit.
Mm.
Because I'm pretty sure there should have been somebody else in there.
Yep.
Mickie James somehow interjects her way into the match. Bliss wins. They go back to the Becky Lynch, Mickie James feud again.
Again,
same old shit. Same story, same old shit. American Alpha goes against Breezango.
the modern day Billy and Chuck.
I hate to say it again, you bring in strong competitors.
Right.
Tyler Breeze was a pretty strong competitor when he came in. They've pussified him down a lot.
Especially with his selfie stick.
Well, he had the selfie stick to start.
I hate
that. That was the whole NXT thing.
Yeah.
Then you have, he was Johnny Curtis. Now he's Fandango. Who cares? Whatever.
Isn't that like a movie ticket website?
Yes, it is. Which I thought it was kind of gay that they even put that together.
Well, what about when Fandango made his debut and he refused to wrestle until they announced his name correctly?
It's a gimmick.
I know it's a gimmick, but he's such a bitch.
He spit in Lillian Garcia.
He's what?
Spit on her.
Did he really?
She didn't pronounce it properly the first 3 times he came out.
I can't even think about Lillian Garcia, especially after that podcast interview with X-Pac, that he was doing a word association thing with the Divas.
Yeah.
And his word association for Lillian Garcia was Big Bush. It was a word.
But it's funny that she has her own podcast.
What? No, he wasn't on her podcast.
No, but she has her own.
Yeah.
And it's an actual wrestling podcast.
Yeah. But it's funny, like, a bunch of people I told about the whole word around the women's locker room that Lillian Garcia's got this, enormous friggin' bush. So many people are like, oh man, I wanted to bang Lillian Garcia until you told me that. Like, you gotta mow that shit.
The only thing I have to say about that is how does he really truly know?
Because
was he actually in the women's locker room while she was changing clothes?
He walked in on her, yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a little nuts.
Well, X-Pac, spends, 23 and a half hours out of a 24-hour day high, so he probably walked into that room by mistake, knowing him.
He didn't walk into the room.
Yeah, that's true.
Let's get this straight. X-Pac has never been straight. He has one testicle.
And
just a huge bulldog ball, and that's it.
He has a hook dick.
And yes, we have seen One Night in China.
That's the only reason why we know about his situation, people. None other. No other reasons.
So back to this American Alpha thing.
American Alpha.
I'd rather try not to get off the topic of this.
The modern day Team Angle, in other words?
Yes. And I give them a lot of credit for their style and the way that they work.
Well, they're good. I don't take anything away from them. They are good. But
it's now, again, the promo time of promoting them for WrestleMania against the Usos.
Usos, another bunch of friggin' fucking mutants that they're shoving down our throats.
But you know what? In a way, it's a good thing. Because the Usos have the potential to put American Alpha over.
They do. They're what's the word I'm looking for? Established.
Not only are they established, but with the run that they've had,
right,
over the entire thing, whether they were tag champions, whether they were the mid-card tag team out of the division, they work real well, and they have the wrestling background to get anybody over the edge.
I just can't seem to figure out Vince McMahon's boner for anyone who's Samoan. I mean, Rikishi's in the Hall of Fame. Reigns and the Usos get shoved down our throats. Brock was like the biggest suck up of the Attitude Era. It's like, what's with the fucking hard on that they have for anyone who's Samoan?
It's
Like
just
that whole bloodline.
it's just the lineage of it all, going back to the Samoans in like the 70s, 80s.
Like the Wild Samoans
Yes.
and the Islanders.
And those are the guys that he. It's not that he had the hard on for them. When his dad was running the whole thing, that was like the big thing, because you had all of the American wrestlers, and then you had the Samoans, and the Samoans were always the usually big draw.
Yeah.
Back in the triple WF, the WWF, you know.
Yep, Worldwide Wrestling Federation.
Yes, because they couldn't figure out where to put the period after the WWW. Never mind. Joke, maybe nobody will catch that.
I got it.
We next go into the next segment.
Yeah.
A feud that I really think is just getting a little blown out of proportion.
I think I know exactly what you're going to say, but I'll let you say it.
Natalya and Nikki Bella.
Ding, ding, ding. That's exactly what I was thinking. And what is it with anybody who's involved with John Cena? Their fucking matches are drawn out and boring.
First off, I don't think this was the drawn out and boring part. Elimination Chamber, they have a technical draw, a double count out. Then you go and you put this Falls Count Anywhere match on SmackDown, live TV.
Oh.
Where there is just no room for error when you have these two running around.
No room for their tits either.
They end up backstage, and Natalya throws Nikki into a curtain, which has Maurice behind it. Yes.
Now, so is that why Maurice is not accompanying The Miz to the ring anymore? Because you got like her own storyline going?
Well, I think they're going to drag her back into the ring eventually.
Hopefully. I mean, them skimpy outfits.
But also for the same fact, this is now 2 times in a row that Maurice is technically, and I use that word loosely, technically, been involved in their segment.
Right.
Natalya and Nikki make it back out to ringside, and Maurice comes out with a pipe.
Ooh, nice.
And beats the shit out of Nikki Bella for Natalya to win.
Blondes all stick together.
Yeah, but at the same right, though, The Miz had to come out and take Maurice away from ringside, even though she interjected herself in the match.
Right.
So, cannot wait to see where that storyline goes. And I say that with wide eyes.
Can't wait.
Now, 10-man Battle Royal, last segment for SmackDown. And then we'll give our overall ratings on everything.
Okay.
First off, half the guys should not have been in this match. Kalisto.
Apollo Crews.
Ziggler, yes.
Oh, Ziggler.
Mojo Rawley, no.
Mojo.
Now, we discussed this, that there are not very many top flight, high-named superstars on SmackDown to begin with.
Right.
So apparently those 3 were fillers.
Of course.
AJ, Luke Harper, obviously Orton wasn't in it, Cena, Ziggler, Miz. Those guys, yeah. But SmackDown doesn't have any names, which is pathetic.
They're all on Raw.
So we're going to all see the same old shit every week.
Yep.
Obviously the weaker guys, Rawley, Cruz, Kalisto, Ziggler, all get tossed early. 6 men left. I like the way that they went with final two. Cena getting eliminated was going to happen.
Especially by an eliminated guy.
Which is going to be another match for Mania, apparently.
Cena Miz?
You know what? They had the WrestleMania moment. I was happy with that. I was happy that Cena didn't win. Because The Rock put the Miz over. Which at that point I think needed to be done.
That was awesome, though.
But at this point, it's AJ and Harper are the last two.
Right.
Either way you go with this storyline, Wyatt has a great opponent for WrestleMania.
Yeah.
But WWE drops the ball.
Again.
We go back to Royal Rumble with Luger, and it's a draw.
Was it Luger and Davey Boy, right?
I believe it was Luger and Davey Boy.
Right. 94.
Or was it Bret Hart? I don't remember.
No, it was
somebody, the non-Canadian, I think.
It was definitely Luger and Davey Boy Smith, Royal Rumble 1994.
So, both of these guys apparently fall out of the ring with about a 7-inch height difference.
Right.
WWE doesn't have any cameras on that side of the ring, no referees on that side of the ring, and now we have to wait a week to find out what they're going to do.
Terrible shit.
Let's lay this out for the last minute or two. Between the two of them, who would you rather see?
Honestly, I'm gonna have to be biased and say AJ Styles. That's my boy. I'm sorry.
Storyline wise, who do you think is going?
Storyline wise, I say Luke Harper. My personal opinion, I say AJ Styles.
Okay. I would probably say storyline wise, it's going to be Harper because they're going to have to somehow re-involve Randy Orton, the whole thing.
Yeah, that's
Which would
true.
be triple threat: Bray Wyatt, Randy Orton, Luke Harper at WrestleMania.
Or unless they keep it as, for the first time in WWE history, Royal Rumble winner refuses to wrestle in the main event at Mania.
Well, the only reason why I say that is if he knows he's going against Harper. He's not going in alone. He'll have the fear that Harper will beat him, and Orton is his backup. If it's AJ, it's going to be one-on-one, and I just really hope the both of them are going to work well.
So how are they deciding, or how or when are they deciding the...
SmackDown.
On SmackDown this upcoming Tuesday?
Yes, this coming Tuesday.
What are they doing, a fucking video review, and then they're going to announce...
They'll probably make it a one-on-one match.
And goes
AJ versus Harper for the number one contendership. That'll be it.
So no matter which way we look at it, it's not going to be Randy Orton and Bray Wyatt at Mania.
No. Not unless something somehow changes between Tuesday night and WrestleMania.
Oh, I'm kind of bummed about that because I really, believe it or not, I'm not a fan of either Bray Wyatt or Randy Orton, but I was kind of looking forward to seeing that, go down at Mania. Two members of the family,
But then Orton would have to put him over. Orton would have to put him over.
Well, he's got to put him over. He's not a greedy schmuck like John Cena, who doesn't put anybody over, really.
I don't know. All right, so we'll just give our grades on what we saw this week.
Well,
your rating of Raw?
6 out of 10.
Okay. I'm going to give it an 8. Only for the fact being that Strowman Big Show match
put it over.
Was a great spot. I have to say there was 2 other spots. I just right off the top of my head, just Strowman Big Show. Just really locked it up. Oh, Owens promo at the beginning.
Yeah.
And then Bayley telling Stephanie to go fuck herself, pretty much.
Yeah, basically.
That'll be a really interesting storyline going ahead. SmackDown, your rating?
5.5.
I would judge it about the same thing. I just don't like the way that they have it all set up.
Yeah.
And them dropping the ball on the main event was just horrible. So, any final comments?
Just that I am looking forward to see whatever WWE has in mind for, Raw's upcoming pay-per-view, Fastlane, and WrestleMania. I'm geared up. That's all I could say. I'm stoked.
Well, on behalf of Jim, I'm Rick. Again, recording live at the Dungeon, Brooklyn, Patriot Pipe Bomb. We'll catch you on the flip side.